Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Today's demonstration is on Ivanti Service Manager, Service Catalog in particular. I'm going to show you how I can actually log in as a self-service user and request for HR services. If you notice, I'm actually logged in as a self-service user on this particular bar here. Right, so the first presentation is actually the dashboard. The dashboard gives me an overview of basically items I've submitted. Right, the announcement page actually tells some general announcement that the administrator has published and says maybe service is down or stuff like that. So over here I have access to the social board, service catalog, my items, knowledge center, which is I have access to part of the knowledge base. If I go to my service catalog, I'll have a list of services that's published, right? The most popular items are actually here on this particular panel. On the left-hand side, you will see a categorization of all the services, including IT services, FM services, HR services, and so on and so forth. So Ivanti Service Catalog allows you to publish all other services in addition to IT or any other services for your end user or customers basically to make a request through the portal. So if I go to one example, employment administration, for example, I will see a list of services published under employment administration category. I'm going to make a request for employee transfer. So I click on this particular service. On my left hand side, if you notice, there's actually cover three steps, simple steps that I need to go through. On my right hand side is a course. This is highly configurable. You can publish the course or do not publish the course. Over here is actually the estimated fulfillment days or delivery days for the service. So the next thing I'm going to do is select a guy, employee, basically, or customer. Vicky, for example, from Southern Europe, right? And I'm going to transfer her to a different department to maybe the executive team. The effective date of transfer is 31st. Click on this, right? I actually look through the information that I've put in just now. Click the submit button, and this request is submitted. If I click to view all my items, I will see a list of all the requests that I've put in. Over here, the progress bar, which is configurable, shows the status. This is now pending approval. And yeah, you have other status such as it's done, is approved, and is completed. I'm going to switch my role to the HR manager. Now, actually, I'm an administrator. As such, I have all the roles, access to all the roles. But in actual implementation, a user might be restricted to only the roles that is assigned to. So I'm going to switch over my role to HR manager. And again, the first presentation is always the dashboard, which is a list which is configurable. I can change this. If I now go to HR requests, I'll see a list of all the requests submitted for HR. So I have this one that is submitted, right? 1029, 1209, and basically the date of submission and creation is actually this here. So I can actually process this. I can take a look at this and process this particular request. So I click in, I'll actually see the request, and also there's an approval request for this, pending for an approval. This request is pending for approval. And on the top right, as I mentioned, here is basically the response and the fulfillment targets that we set in for this particular service. Status of this service is submitted, but is pending an approval. If I go to the approval tab now, I'll actually see a list of the approval that is pending my action. Click on one of this. This is actually employee transfer location. I can just click on the approve and says that this is good to go and approve it. So I have actually come in to approve this particular request. Now, approval can be done via the web interfaces like this, any browser, or can be approved through our app. We have a native app for Android and iOS. So let's move back to this particular service request again. Let's take a look at this. I can actually from here, once this is approved, let's kind of refresh this guys. Now if you notice this is approved now. The system based on the workflow automatically generate 2 tasks, right? Because this is an employee transfer. HR has to come in and complete the task, and then the IT team we have come in and probably move or reassign your laptop to this. So the individual task assignee can come in and accept, right, and complete the task. So once it's accepted it, you actually can complete the task when it's done, and the IT team can then basically comes in and do the next. So the task can be sequential, can be in parallel. It's all highly configurable. Now I'm going to move this status basically now to an active because it's been approved. I can actually move on, right? So there are certain values that is mandatory, and we can actually force the user to put in certain mandatory values. So in this case, the owner of this is actually mandatory. Going to be owner Alan Taylor. Save this. So as the service request progress, we can actually move the status from active to finally basically completed or fulfilled if everybody has completed all the tasks for this particular service request. Right. In addition to that, as I mentioned, if there's any other calls, anything associated with that, you can actually put into here. Any other HR case that's basically associated with this particular request, you can actually put into this tab a link or associated with this as well. Right, so in the HR module in Ivanti Service Manager, we not only take care of HR service requests, we have a HR case management as well, which is this. So in HR case management, essentially you can actually create HR related case. In this particular instance, if you look at this, is basically a kind of a request for annual leave extension, right? And from here, I can actually assign out a task to the teams, right? That's supposed to take care of this leave extension, or I can associate and create new tasks, right, for another team. Let's say need access to HR to process the leave. I'm just copy and paste this into here, and I can actually put into the team, HR resource team, and get Bob to work on it. So in this particular case, the case has 2 tasks associated with this HR case, right? So again, just like what I've demonstrated earlier on in the HR service request, somebody has to come in, accept this, complete this. Else, we also can reassign this to somebody else. If Bob is not managing this, Bob can reassign this task to another team or another team member, right? So now this is actually the HR module together with the HR request that I put in. So in the next couple other videos, I'll show you how I actually can reconfigure the service request or service catalog very quickly using the workflow and native built-in forms within Ivanti. Thank you for watching.